Hey there guys, welcome to another video. In today's video I just want to do a quick comparison between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12 Pro. So as you guys may have known, I bought the iPhone 11 last year in September and I've had it ever since then, and I decided this year to upgrade to the iPhone 12 Pro. And the reason I ended up doing the Pro is because of the price difference. So as you guys know, the iPhone 11 came in at $700 last year, and if you added storage, it would be a little bit more. So I think it was $750 for the 128 gig model. And then for the iPhone 12, they changed it a little bit. So now the iPhone 12 mini is the one that's $700, or actually $730 for the cheapest model. And then the next step up is the iPhone 12, and that one is $830. So if you add the $50 for the storage to make it 128 gigs, it's $870 plus tax. So at that point, I decided, go ahead and spend the extra and get the $1,000 model because it's not that much different, and then I would get the better camera and better screen, all that good stuff. So the differences between the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro are a little bit different than last year. So last year, the iPhone 11 was 6.1 inches, and then the iPhone 11 Pro was 5.8 inches. So you were going down in size by getting the Pro model. However, this year they decided to do 6.1 inches for both the 12 and the 12 Pro, and both phones actually fit in the same cases. So you can buy an iPhone 12 case and the iPhone 12 Pro will fit in it just fine. So what are the differences between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12 Pro? So you go from an LCD screen with just a little over 720p resolution to a much higher resolution OLED display on the iPhone 12 Pro. Now the iPhone 12 also gets that same display, but the Pro model actually has just a little bit higher peak brightness. So if you are outside, this one will have a little bit higher brightness than this one will. Now the other differences here are the design of these phones. So the front of the phones look very similar. What you may or may not notice, honestly I didn't really notice it, was there is a slightly smaller notch on the iPhone 12 series, but honestly it is such a very minute detail. But the biggest change is the actual overall design. So on the iPhone 11, for example, it is a more curved phone. So you have these edges that curve over, and then you have the rounded edges all around. So as you can see here, it's all rounded right here, and then the glass on the front and the back curve off into that rounded edge on both on all sides. So, and that actually adds a little bit to each side, and it makes the bezels a little bit bigger. Now the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro are a little bit different because we went from that kind of rounded design to a flat design. So, and as you can see here, it is flat. There's no rounding off of the corners. It's just flat. And then it goes into this stainless steel band, and there's no rounding of the corners, so you lose a little bit of that bezel, which is nice because it makes it a little bit thinner and a little bit less tall. And you can kind of tell the difference here. If I put them right at where they are, you can see the difference right here just a little bit. It's obviously not huge, but they are the same exact size screen, but they were able to reduce the form factor a little bit while keeping the same size. Really cool. Now along the back here, just like the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max, there's a difference in materials. So you go from the glossy glass here to the matte glass on the Pro models, and then you go from 2 cameras to 3 on the Pro models as well. So if you were to get an iPhone 12 and compare it to an iPhone 11, the back will look very similar because you're going to have the same 2 cameras, the same flash. But on the Pro models, you get 3 flash, and then on the 12 Pro, you get a LiDAR sensor. Let's briefly talk about performance here. So performance on these is very good. Both of these are very fast phones. So on the iPhone 11, you get an A13 processor, very quick. As you can see on here, we have 1333 single core, 3008 multi-core, and of course, that is very, very good. On the iPhone 12 Pro, we're getting a 1585 on the single core and 3987 on the multi-core, so that's very good as well, a screamer. So the differences here are going to be the RAM. So the processor's number one. So A13, A14 here. This one has 4 gigs of RAM. This one has 6 gigs of RAM. So if you're looking for multitasking, the Pro models will probably be the one to go for. Now, if you get the iPhone 12 has 4 gigs. So both the 11 and 12 both have the same amount of RAM. Now the big difference here is going to be obviously the cameras here. So the iPhone 11 cameras are fantastic. And I can attribute that to the fact that I've used this phone for many of my videos earlier this year and late last year. So if you've ever watched any of my videos, you may have seen this camera being used. And of course, it is fantastic. Works just great. So what do you get here? You get 12 megapixel regular, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and on this one you get night mode on just the main sensor. So and that still looks really, really good as well. So on the 12 Pro, what you're getting is 3 cameras instead of 2. So you get a regular 12 megapixel ultra wide and a telephoto lens. And the great thing here is that all 3 cameras get night mode. So you only got night mode on one camera on the 11 series, but on all of them on the 12 Pro. That includes the front-facing camera as well. Now, there's another part here that you may notice, and that is the LiDAR sensor, and that helps with night photography as well. So you will get better shots with the LiDAR. So if you do get the regular 12, that one doesn't have that sensor, so the night mode or the night photography might not be as good. All right, so I did take a couple of sample photographs with these and a sample video, so I'll go ahead and show you those now, and you can see which one you think is better. Here's a quick video sample. Now another thing to talk about here is the upgrade in cellular as well. So on the iPhone 11 series, it's only LTE, and on the new 12, it includes 5G. However, I feel like this is not an upgrade we should even be talking about because 5G is not as prominent as it will be later on. Now, obviously, if you buy the 12 now, you're going to get 5G later down the road, and of course, it'll get better as time goes on. But right now, I don't think 5G is worth the money. Now, another thing too is certain carriers, looking at you Verizon, charge more for specific types of 5G. And talking about that real quick, they have millimeter wave, which is really fast, but really hard to get because it doesn't travel very far and it can be impeded by just a leaf if it comes in your way. So that millimeter wave is only available in certain cities, in certain states, and in Florida where I am, they only have it in 3 cities, and those I am not even close to. So I can't even try it if I wanted to. But Verizon is one of those ones that decided, hey, we're going to charge extra for that, so you have to pay extra to get that millimeter wave option in the first place, which is just ridiculous. But if you really want 5G, you have to get the 12. But I don't think 5G personally is worth it at this moment. Now here's something that actually is kind of a downgrade. I'm not sure if it will, I haven't really had the phone long enough to actually test it, but battery life. So the battery in the iPhone 11 was actually very good. So we have a 3100 milliamp hour battery in here, and on the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, it has a 2815 milliamp hour battery. So a downgrade in battery from the 11 to the 12 and the 12 Pro. So as of course I told you, the 12 and 12 Pro are the same design, same form factor, and share a lot of the same parts as well as the battery. So both the 12 and the 12 Pro have the same exact battery, 2815 milliamp hours. So what they're doing here is trying to make it more efficient with the chip. So the A14 should be a little bit more efficient, but you're actually getting 1 hour less of battery than the iPhone 11 series. So if you're looking for battery, you might want to stick with the 11 series because that one's going to offer better battery. So both the iPhone 11, iPhone 12, and 12 Pro offer stereo sound, so it comes out of the earpiece as well as the speaker. So let me go ahead and give you a quick speaker test on both of these phones. All right, so here's a test of the iPhone 11. All right, and here's a test of the iPhone 12 Pro. All right, Alright guys, so there you have it. So this has just been a quick comparison between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12 Pro. So of course the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro include a different design. All of them have OLED screens, and you do have some camera improvements as well as the inclusion of 5G. However, I still feel like the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max are perfectly capable phones. So of course, as you know, Apple still sells the iPhone 11. They still sell the iPhone XR as well as the new SE that was released this year. And all three of those are capable phones. And if you want to get into the Face ID, if you want Face ID with your phone, the iPhone XR is your cheapest bet at $500. Still not bad, and still a really great phone. So you do have options. If you want the latest and greatest, go for the 12. If you don't mind last year's model, perfectly capable, and of course still runs iOS 14 and still offers fantastic cameras, fantastic performance, and fantastic battery. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this quick video comparison. If you did like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more like this, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.